It's pretty hard to be human right now, and there's one thing that's harder than anything else: uncertainty. Right now, we've all got more questions than answers, and this makes us feel not so great. So this video will explain how you can deal with uncertainty and gain a little bit more comfort in living life without all the answers. The problem with uncertainty is that, unlike other creatures, us humans are serious planners, forward thinkers, and we like to work towards an expected future. And when those expectations are met, we feel certain and secure. When they're not, we feel uncertain and insecure. But it doesn't have to be that way. There are 3 simple things that we can all do to feel a greater sense of security whilst living with uncertainty. Control the controllables is a classic phrase used in sport, because in sport there's so many times in which you do everything right but still end up on the losing side. The athlete who just focuses on what they can control, like their effort and use of their skills, doesn't get caught up in the uncontrollables that often lead to meltdowns. The awful referee decisions, the bad weather, and the bad sportsmanship of other competitors. Right now we may feel like we have the least amount of control ever. But just because we're now limited in what we can and can't do, that doesn't mean things are as bad as we think. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who documented his experiences of being in a concentration camp during World War II, wrote the following: "Everything can be taken from a man or woman but one thing. The last of human freedoms to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. To choose one's own way." And he's right. If he and others demonstrated that attitude when experiencing the worst things a human could ever possibly face, then we ourselves have no excuse but to just focus on what we can control in any given situation that is uncertain. It may be uncertain when you get to see your friends again in the flesh, but that doesn't mean you can't still enjoy engaging with them virtually. I heard the other day of someone who did a virtual zoo tour with their friends, and it just made me realise that there are so many different ways that you can still connect with others. And it may be uncertain when you get to eat at your favourite restaurant again. But what's stopping you from trying to make that meal yourself? And look, these things are trivial, but for a lot of us, that is the nature of our uncertainty right now. And so the second you decide to actually start focusing on what you can control, you realise that you've actually got a lot more choice than you initially thought. If you think about why we dislike uncertainty, it often comes down to the fact that there's a lack of order. A close cousin of uncertainty is chaos, and is the polar opposite of having order and stability in our lives. And when it comes to order and stability, the easiest and most effective way to achieve those is to have a routine. Routines can become monotonous, but ultimately they allow us to achieve, again, a sense of control in our lives. And having that sense of order is just naturally calming and comforting. And whatever the wider realm of uncertainty brings, there's a number of basic routines that can just keep you physically and mentally in check. Now, I won't patronise you with the importance of these things. We all know that there are a number of basic things to integrate into a routine to start feeling our best. But honestly ask yourself, are you keeping all of these in check right now? It's almost a guarantee that most people feeling overly stressed, anxious and worried are also the same people neglecting these areas. Of course, people are going to feel awful if they're handling uncertainty by staying up till 2 AM, scrolling social media each night and waking up 15 minutes before they have to start another day working from home. That's just a chaotic way of living that's only going to make things worse and a far cry from the sense of order that comes from a good, healthy daily routine. Routine is an easy sense of certainty all of us can implement, and each individual component takes time to integrate, but that itself is a good challenge that you can focus on and feel in control of. Pre-pandemic, a lot of people lived on autopilot, always thinking ahead and moving on to the next thing, living out their future in their heads whilst not taking the time to enjoy the present moment. But one of the blessings of uncertainty is that it forces us to detach from our obsession with forward thinking. A literal barricade to the future has been erected, and yeah, this is frustrating. You can't plan your usual holidays or your next career move. But it's funny because those things cause frustration anyway. A lot of people enjoy the build up to their holiday more than the stress of traveling. You know, delayed flights and getting lost on day trips. And all that excitement of planning a career move is then met with frustration 2 months into a new role when you realise it's the same old crap at just a different company. Instead, living in the present is often better. It's far less stressful and often more pleasurable. We often hear of cliches of taking each day as it comes among people with serious illnesses. And weirdly, despite what they're going through, they often are their happiest and most content during these times. They've been forced to slow down and appreciate the everyday things worth celebrating. And that is what uncertainty brings. Again, it just allows you to focus on what you can control. What is in front of you right now? So enjoy the fact you can spend an evening carefree making a fresh meal from scratch rather than your eating out trips at restaurants that do their best to get 3 courses in you and then throw you back out on the streets 45 minutes later. And enjoy the fact you have more time to yourself in the morning because you don't have to commute right now. I know this is cheesy, but cartoonist Bill Keane said it best. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift, which is why we call it the present. Those are 3 simple but effective tips for dealing with uncertainty. And look, these are just a starting point. I appreciate everyone's situation is very different right now. So if you want more specific advice, feel free to contact me at lamotus.com. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.